Alright, so let's make a measurement. First, we need to create a new person in Cantaris, and we do that by going to this part right here, selected person, and clicking the little plus button below it. We can fill in a name. Let's just make a measurement of myself. So I'll fill in my name, and you will need a date of birth. Other fields are optional, like gender, the voice classification, maybe if that's interesting to you, the repertoire or things that you're working on, and maybe coaching goals for your client. Click Save to add this person. We can immediately see that Cantaris tells us what the age is, and it made a measurement for this person on the date of today. When you click that date, you will see numbers. So this is measurement number 1 for this person on this date, and you can filter or change or scroll in the list to select another measurement. So, all right, let's record some basic vocal like ah, which would be the most steady vocal, and see where my voice is at the moment. We would do that within what we would call the vocal performance range. So that will be part of the total range of vocalization that I am able to perform. Click Record VPR, and at that moment the button will become red and it will immediately start recording. So at this moment I would explain to my client, okay, we're going to measure this and that, we're going to measure your voice, let's produce this kind of sound. So I'm instructing my client, and when I click, I can give a hand signal for my client to start what we agreed upon. So let's do that. Click. Click. So these 2 clicks were enough. And right here we can see that that's a certain loudness, let's say around 47 decibels, which was the max, and 34 decibels, which was the lowest. Now do keep in mind that this is not a calibrated system, so that's good to know. There were 13 decibels between the softest and the loudest vocalization, and then this tone was roughly around C3, which is this tone on the piano. I can click it, and B2, which is of course the semitone below it. So that is where my voice was at for this recording. And when you've made this recording, you can not only see these key measurements right here, but you also see these tiny buttons appear. So you can click harmonicity to view the amount of harmonicity versus the noise in the sound. We'll make all kinds of different videos about this later on. You can see irregularity, with which we call the amount of regularity in vocal fold vibration. Vocal ring, which is the total amount of 3000 Hertz activation. They sometimes call this the singer's formant. Quality, which is a very high quality recording and measurement of the voice quality of sound. So that's roughness, breathiness, irregularity, all is put in there. So this is the best kind of measurement we have. And we see a button called recordings. Now with recordings, we open up this field at the right, and we can see that there's a blue color that outlines this number 1, and it's connected to the same kind of blue in the diagram right here. Now, of course, we made only 1 recording, so this is the only recording we can see. When we click it, we get immediately more detail of our sound. We get an oscillogram, which is the sound that we see right here. We get a pitch contour, so this was what my pitch did around these, let's say 130 Hertz. And we can see a spectrogram, a small band spectrogram. We could also right-click the pitch and switch to intensity to see the loudness. So we can switch that a little bit, and we can select the sound or a part of the sound and click play to hear the sound back. Now Clicking this number 1 again is going to deselect it. So you can select and deselect, and clicking back on vocal ring or irregularity is going to change the view again, of course. So you can do some more things right here. So you can click and drag, and if you like this sound, you can click the export button right here to make a sound file, for example, to send to your colleague or to send to your client. And you can also delete the sound, and it will be permanently deleted also from the diagram. We will see that later on. So this is the vocal performance range, and let's also make a normal speaking voice recording. So the green normal button is exactly for that. What we could do is use a text that our client could read aloud, or we could ask them to just say something about their week. So you can use any kind of stimulus as long as you yourself know what you're doing. So whatever you use in your profession, do that. So in my way of working, I can just click this button and let's just talk a little bit, talk something about the weekend, for example, and let's see what my voice has done during this recording when I end it and click right now. So this is what my voice has done. I was speaking on 121 Hertz, which is B2, which is actually quite around the same area that my vocal A was at. I put my voice right in between these parts right here. So this is the range, and the range was approximately from G2 to G sharp 3, which is slightly more than an octave, 1 octave and 1 semitone. We can see it in the musical notation right here. And you can also see that the speech range profile was activated. And when I click on vocal performance range to activate that also, we can see an overlay. Now there isn't really much to overlay at the moment, but you can see a more schematized version of it. Let's deselect the vocal performance range again, and we can also see these small buttons like quality. We can see the quality of the voice and recordings. So again, we can select normal, and we can view this sound. Now the same things apply here. I can click and drag to select the voice of my client and click play to hear it all again. I can again export this or delete this, or make, as you would have noticed, a voice report. That's something for another video. And deselect my sound to go back to my main view. So these are the main ways in which we can add a person, see our current measurement, and make some recordings. And let's see if I can click this plus button right here to make a new recording, and I can do in my vocal performance range, which wasn't only louder, but it was also higher. I can click right here, select my other measurements, and you can see that I can just switch between the two. All right, so let's play around with that a little bit, and then let's see if we can record the lowest and highest frequencies that someone might be able to produce.